In this video, I'd like to go over line items, how to edit them, and the different settings that are available. And for this video, I'll focus on this blog line item. To edit a line item, you simply click on it. And right away, there's a title and a description. Now, let me tell you a format that I like to use on line item descriptions. The first thing is a summary sentence, followed by the work that's included, or features included, or deliverables, whatever. The big idea is you're going to do a bulleted list. And the reason why I like the bulleted list is because it's easy for you to define your work this way, and it's easy for your prospects to scan. Additionally, when you've broken it down into the smaller pieces, you might identify different upsells, things that you want to part out, and it helps you get your price down as well. A lot of times I'll also put a restriction right below it. Again, this format can be helpful, but you don't have to use it. Okay, next thing, there's undo and redo. You can also add headings if you'd like. Standard features here, including links and even images. You can highlight text or do change the text color. There's alignment, line height, indentation, and then there's a remove formatting option. So that's the editor. On the right here, let's go over these first three settings: optional, recurring, and quantity. So optional, if I have it turned off, you'll see there's no checkbox. This is not something the prospect can turn off or on. If I turn that on, checkbox appears. They can turn it off and on, and you can see now the price fluctuates. Recurring adds a monthly option here. So now it's a $26.25 per month instead of it being one time. Now, when this video was recorded, this is how this was set up. You'll likely be seeing this. There's a lot more options and the ability to change the interval right here in the settings. So look for that. But the point stands, recurring allows you to have a recurring line item and ongoing fee. Okay, quantity will add a quantity selector here, so they can choose, hey, I want 5 blogs. Of course, that doesn't make sense necessarily, but that's how it works. Now, if you want some additional settings on the quantity, you can click on Configure, and let's look at these each. So there's editable by recipient. By default, your recipients can edit the quantity. If you just want to show it to them, then turn that off. Now, you'll note that while I'm editing it, you can still see it. But if I were to go to the preview, you'll see right here that it's no longer editable. They can't change the quantity. It's editable here because you might want to change it yourself. You can also supply a min and a max. So I could say 5 to 10. Save that. And now I can't go below that 5. And I can't go above 10. Okay, let's turn off quantity. Get it back to our normal line item. And let's talk about these upsells, or what we call modifications. They're called modifications because that's kind of a general term, and there could be lots of different things that you put in here, including potentially discounts. Note that you can change the heading right here. So if I wanted to say different label, this now changes here. So I can override that under the Advanced tab. Okay. Now, if I want to edit these, I simply click on it and click Modifications, and you can see all the modifications I have in there. The first thing you'll note, you can delete and reorder over here, a title, a description. There's also a quantity feature, just like on the main line item level. So I could turn that on. You can see now MailChimp integration is optional, and they could choose how many they want. Again, that doesn't make any sense, but you get the point. Okay. There's also a fee calculation, which we'll go over here in a second. In this case, it's just fixed, and I put a fixed cost of $275. Okay, now back to these fee calculations. So there's a few different options. You can do fixed, just a standard dollar amount. You can do free, to be decided, or none. You can also do task-based, but because that's a little bit more advanced, I have a separate video just for that. Looking at the other three here, though, you can do free, and you could override the label. So maybe I'll say included. If I save that, you can see how that works. You can also do TBD. And this is if you don't know the costs, but you want to outline it, spell things out. That's a great way to do it. And you can also do none. That removes the label altogether. Note that if you do free, so I'll say included, and then they click on some upsells, it actually overrides that. So that's kind of a good mechanism how that works there. All right, I think that's it. There's a couple more features back here. There is an internal note that if you wanted to put a note about the line item so that just your team could see, you can use that section. Sales tax exempt, I'll talk about in another video on sales tax. And then surcharge exempt, I'll talk about that as well. Those are ways to just say that this line item doesn't apply, or sorry, to tax or to a surcharge. One last note on here, I did go over the custom heading. You can also adjust the selection type. So by default, it's multiple, right? So you can see I can check 2 or 3 of these. Now, if I go here and I change it to single, it'll make it so that I can only select one option. Okay. And there's one more minor distinction here. You can also do single loose. Probably not very common use case, but in this case, you can actually deselect the single selection that you made. You can't make more than one, but you can make 0 or 1. All right, well, that just about covers line items. I'll talk more about the line item catalog and adding additional line items to your proposal from the catalog in a different video. But I hope you found this helpful.